Go live. Okay, sweet. Hey, welcome in, everyone. Those that are coming in, welcome into All You Can Eat Warriors, the show that is focused completely on our favorite team, the New Zealand Warriors. And grateful to be here again, and grateful to have my friend Ash. How you doing, Ash? Man, things going
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, good man. Everything's been going good, getting through the work week and that. Just can't wait for the footy on the weekend, my brother. I feel you feel
Yeah,
exactly the same, mate.
yeah. It always gets like that around Wednesday, kind of Wednesday. You had to choose, the team naming on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Kind of Wednesday, you're like, okay, I need something here, and then that Thursday night footy games are usually pretty good. But yeah,
Yeah, usually
um,
yeah, you get the Tuesday, brother, you get all your like footy juices pumping and that, and you just like get me to the weekend, my bro, and pump through your work and then yeah, Thursday night, Friday night comes and footy's on, bro. So
yeah,
I'm
man.
pretty sure this week we got Friday night games, haven't we? We haven't got Thursday, so
Yes, Fridays is it? Yep.
but then
Um,
the boys obviously play on Saturday and that's all anyone
Saturday.
cares about, eh?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's right. That's right. Um, hey, shout out from everyone from Instagram. Throw me the ball. How's it, boys? Yeah, big up everyone in the chat. It's great to have you guys here.
Big up the homies.
Um, Look, man, the show's called All You Can Eat Warriors, right? Now, if there's something you could only eat and that's the only food you could ever eat for the rest of your life, what would that be, bro?
Tacos, my bro.
Taco, man.
Tacos. I'm a Mexican man, but when I was growing up, bro, honestly, I was a weird bloke, man. I was like, bro, I'd love to be Mexican, man. Like Mexican food, oh, always goes well for me. Tacos, my bro. What's your food, man? What is it?
Man, I've been watching a lot of was it Portnoy? Dave
Yeah.
Portnoy? Yeah, he does the one bite reviews of pizza.
Ooh,
And
okay.
I'm thinking, man, actually I could probably eat a pizza a day. Um, you
Yeah.
know, Something like
Yeah.
that.
Pizza would be good.
How about that guy that he ate a Big Mac for was it? He ate one Big Mac a day, for like what
Yeah.
30 years or whatever it was. That's insane, man.
Actually, I got a massive question for ya.
Yeah.
What in New Zealand, bro? Obviously, I'm an Aussie boy. If you guys don't know, I am full Aussie. I'm an Aussie Warriors fan. I know that's weird, but it's just the way it is. In New Zealand, your Works burger. What do you got on your Works burger? Do you have Works burgers over there, like the burger with the lot? And what do you put on it?
I don't know. I don't technically know. If anyone in the chat can throw out some ideas. I know the Kiwi burger, like the traditional burger, if you made it at home,
Yeah.
is you'd have your patty, your lettuce, um, you'd have beetroot,
Oh, I
tomato,
love it. Yep.
egg.
Yep.
Those are like the things I grew up on. If I had a burger night with mum and dad, dad would always have beetroot and egg and stuff like that. But I'm not sure. Anyone in the chat,
That's where
what
it's at.
what is the key? If so, have you been told there's an issue with Works Burger?
Nah, my
Uh,
brother, nah. I'm just saying, like, we had a really nice dinner, like just a fish and chips dinner or whatever the other night. I got a Works burger. And then you just popping it up, I was just like, bro, I don't know if there's any similarities to our Works burgers over here, but we're pretty similar, like bacon, eggs,
Oh, bacon. Yep.
onion,
Yeah, bacon.
beetroot, bro.
Sorry,
Gotta have
cheese as
beetroot on
well
my
if you wanted.
burger.
Yeah,
Oh, bro.
yeah,
Got
yeah.
me
No.
excited, man. Got me excited. My mouth is watering right now. All you can eat
Yeah.
Warriors,
All you
baby.
can all Warriors, baby. And shout out Warriors in our for next king for the Dolphins game this Saturday. Strong team we have named. Yeah, and we're gonna get
100%,
into
brother.
that. So yeah, good to see you guys all come in, and we appreciate you. Look, man, guys, if we covered a lot of the trial, we feel comfortable that a lot of the topics we covered. So if you wanted to see that, that is full credit to the boys. It's in my live stream on YouTube. I've also got it on Instagram, so go through my profile if you want to watch that. We pretty much break everything down. We haven't got any other real hard out thoughts since that trial, other than we praised a lot of the players.
Yeah,
But now
shoot.
we're looking ahead for this game against the Dolphins. I suppose I'll just bring up the squad on my screen here. But yeah, Ash, any thoughts initially on the squad naming? Pretty much close
Um,
to full strength, eh?
Yeah, pretty much, man. Obviously, obvious one is missing Chauncey for this one. But just for our whole squad, man, it just makes me so excited for the season. It's very similar to where we were kind of landing on. Obviously, the only difference was maybe Sheck on whatever side we were thinking, and Rocco Berry getting the spot, which I'm really excited on too, bro. Rocco. as I say, keep saying and all that, when I was going through thinking Sheck was going to play on the right side, it was more so just to deal with Shea. It wasn't anything to do with Rocco. Rocco's got so much potential. I'm so happy to have him there. But obviously, Ali's waiting for his spot there too. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah. A
but
lot.
yeah, the squad looks mean, bro. What's your thoughts? What jumped off the page for you straight away?
Really interesting. Going off what Jacko said, the bench is interesting.
Yeah.
It was almost like Webster had selected the starting team, but then it decided to, I suppose, mix the bench with a different bench. So I'm interpreting it kind of like, okay, that is probably that starting 13 is maybe the starting 13.
Do you think maybe with
Yep.
the bench, bro, he just named it that way due to the Moldy All Star game and thinking like, I know Jazzy made the 16 there, but a lot of the other
Yep.
boys that didn't make that and it's sitting in reserves obviously played in the Moldy All Star game, which is definitely played at maybe a
Yeah.
higher pace than last week.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Could have.
Jazzy's just loving just trying to be in there for as much time as possible, but everyone else, I kind of think that's the way it's going. So maybe we could see some switches before round one.
Yeah. No, I think
You know what
so.
I mean?
I think if you look at that, look, even Topher Graham, Graham Topher's up there. That
Mm,
isn't like, I don't think we should all think that because even Pompey and Tamaide aren't there.
yeah.
That is the final squad. But if I think everyone's initial reaction to that squad was like, "Oh, this is a pretty solid first 13." You know what I mean? Like
100,
we're pretty happy with that.
100%.
So I'm actually quite pleased with it. But we'll go through position by position.
Yep.
I think first sign we kind of got the answer straight away, guys. All you guys are loving on RTS and wanting him to fullback. I think you got your answer right here. It's not
100%.
it's gonna be Tane. Is that he's gonna be that guy,
Mm-hmm.
and Roger will stay in as the center.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, bro? You happy with that type of thing?
100%, brother. 100%. I honestly believe if we're going to have RTS as a center this year, we need to play him at center as much as possible, even with injuries. Obviously, Tane has been the guy to fill in last year, did an amazing job for us last year, and he just adds to our front row, fullback depth, obviously there, and yeah, I just want RTS to be in that center role and build that combination with Monty as much as he can because rugby league's a lot all about combinations. So
Yep.
I don't really want to jump him around to fullback and then back to center. I want him to be a center and just excel in that
Yeah.
position. That's my honest thoughts there.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, Daniel21 on Instagram, NZ Works Burgers, tomato, egg, beetroot, and pineapple. Yeah, actually, I forgot the pineapple, bro.
The
that's,
pineapple.
that's a big part of the. It's the beetroot and pineapple, man. I mean, I can't stand beetroot, but back when I was a kid, bro, dad, chucked on the beetroot all the time.
Hey, but I love the beetroot,
Yeah,
man. That's the way we
yeah,
go over
yeah,
here. But
yeah. No, no,
the
but that's the.
pineapple is like sometimes hit and miss, sometimes, bro. Like
Yeah, if it's a
sometimes
bit
it works
soggy,
for
yeah. I mean, if it's wet, it's not the nicest.
yeah.
And if it's been sitting too long,
We could go
and
on an argument here. Do you have your pineapple on your pizza? But we might leave that to another day.
yeah, we'll leave that there. But yeah, Aotearoa Stu saying agreed about RTS staying in centre. Yeah, we're of the same vein.
Yeah.
Um, and Luke Adams saying you talked about BHU resigning with Sharks. 750k seems a lot. Ale Bunty
Mm.
Mayu could hold their own and money spent elsewhere. Yeah, Luke, we'll get into that, bro. I think
Yep.
there's some good points to talk about that. But yeah, I'm with you, and I actually think in terms of Tane, I thought he could have been a starting. He could have played in the Māori All Stars game. I felt he
Yeah.
was kind of robbed of that opportunity, and that's just not me being a biased Warriors fan, but I compare his work to a lot of other fullbacks, Māori fullbacks, let's say.
Yep.
I think he could have done a pretty good job and would have been great for that opportunity.
Well, you look
So
at the fullback. Obviously, Jesse Arthurs. He's a winger for the Broncos, and then they had the mid-game switch between him, Tamade. Obviously, they threw up so many different players in that position. Like if they had just had Tane there, bro, like they just bang, he's there, getting to play a full game there, multi All Star, and he would have killed it, man. He killed it in the Kiwi A squad. Go check that out if anyone hasn't gone check that out. The Kiwi A's versus the Tongan A's. He played 6 in that game. Was absolutely incredible.
yeah, yeah. Go see that, guys. If you haven't, it's good to see our guys in different environments and see how they operate. I think in the Kiwi A, he did really well in the
Yeah.
halves. His link play is really good. I mean, I've seen, he's still like, no fear about his running style. I mean, he finds his
Mm.
gaps, but he can still take hits and still get up from them. So no, very happy with that. Dallin back, man. I suppose he had a little niggle for that Māori's game. But you're pretty happy with how he's you expecting good things from Dallin this year? Actually, let me give you this. Do you think he's going to be over or under in terms of tries this year?
So we're
Um,
thinking what he played. I think he played like 18,
and he
19
played
games
18
last
games,
year.
eh? Yeah, he was like
18.
1.5 a click per one
Bro,
point.
he was on some like different try scoring level last year. Whether we can replicate that, obviously we're sticking with the same combinations by the look of it with Rocco there. So what are we going over unders or what's your number?
For
What do you reckon?
for try, can he get 20
20?
tries again, man? You think that?
I reckon he can get 20. I reckon he go 20
Ooh.
and over. I
Yeah, yep.
honestly do. Especially with Capes on that side as well. I know like Nia Corder obviously offers so much of like players going to have to D up on him. Such a bigger body in that. But man, Capes is like an origin player, bro. Like I know Capes is getting older, but I think he obviously deserves a lot of attention from the defensive end. I think we look very similar on that side. I can't see any really world where, obviously, if injuries maybe hampered Dal, but I think he's in for another great year, man. And obviously, if he stays
Yeah.
healthy throughout the whole year, 24 games, like what could we be looking at here?
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
know?
If the body holds up.
Yeah.
Actually, going back to Cause's point, he thinks Webby would have wanted Tane to stay. That's probably true.
Yeah.
And because Bleary was the coach, so Webby. But hey, I'll let you have a few, but you can't take all of them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. 100%.
I get that, Causer. You know, bang on there.
I'm going to be looking at like what Dal is to actually get the most tries this season. I wonder what that's at.
I think Khan Pereira is gonna be right up there, bro.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I like what I see from him.
he's
Um,
tough, man. He's just so quick, that guy. Any bit of space, And even like in the Indigenous game, I think we all pointed out Addo Carr looks cut this year.
mm.
Like, obviously that all meat diet, like he's gonna
But
be
bro,
scary.
you could be bang on with Kate. Well, that channel might open up
Mm,
even more. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
um,
that could be really
just
interesting.
Joe Villa, Walu was saying, do you guys have a junior you would like to have watched again this week that didn't make the lineup? Yeah, let me have a look through that lineup and see who missed out.
Hmm.
Because if we go back right down to the bottom, hey, most of the guys are there.
Yeah,
Toa's there. I want to see him again, of course. Laban's there.
I think the
Uh,
easy answer is Zion if like missing this complete lineup, obviously due to suspension, but
yeah,
it would have been
Zion
good
is
to
the
see
one.
Zion
Yeah,
again.
Zion's the one I
Yeah,
wanted to see the whole package.
yeah.
Dimitri, what's the
Tanner.
deal with Dimitri? Do anyone know where he's at the moment?
Yeah, I have no clue what's going on with Dimitri. I haven't heard anything. Like he had, was it late last year? Did he come? He had an injury, so maybe he's late on his recovery. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
sure he had an injury late last year. That's what pulled him out for a lot of New South Wales Cup. Um, but another one, yeah, Tanner Stowers Smith. I want to see so much more. He only
Yes.
played limited
Yeah.
minutes last game, and
Guys like
I'm
him.
so high on him.
Yeah, no, and it's just a shame. I reckon if it had been 3 preseason games, we would have had a lot better look at a lot of these guys. I
Yeah,
suppose the RLPA have their own laws on how many
Ooh.
games they can play, but
I'm looking up the top try scorers, my brother. What do you reckon? Where do you reckon Dal sits for, like, if you're gonna bet on it,
is
on
he
top
right at the
try
top?
scorer this year?
Is he the top?
He's
No, he'd
close,
probably be
bro.
second. He'd probably be second or third, I'd say.
He's second, bro. He's second. Alex Johnson's number one, obviously trying to break the big record from Irvine, but um, yeah, Dal's second. Marju's third. So yeah, we're sitting around
Marju,
there,
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, he could. Yeah, Marju could have
bro.
one.
You want Khan
They got Dom
Pereira?
Young.
Khan
They got
Pereira's sitting good, man.
yeah,
Khan
Time
Pereira's sitting
Pereira. I think
good.
will have a massive year. He looks good.
Sports bet's
Dom Young, what have they
$15.
got him?
$15.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I know. I
That's a
like that.
nice little one.
Yeah, shout out Jacko here. I do want to see more of Laban, like just playing amongst the first grade team, the
Yeah.
starters. I'd love to see his. I loved his work, and what he showed as well. So yeah, I think there's some really interesting ones. Let me just quickly jump onto to Instagram here. Yeah, with the bench, Tiawai who was saying, with the bench looking like Jazz Walker, Newcott, who you thinks gets that fourth spot? Man, anything off the
It's
top of your head
tough.
right now, bro?
It's tough. Obviously, we were talking a lot with Anton if Barnett wasn't to get the starting spot over Afoa, which I still kind of think in this trial, I think Afoa might start late and Barnett comes off the bench. But then again, maybe they want more minutes than Barnett. But if we're going round one, it's really up to if Barnett goes to the bench. If Afoa doesn't start, I don't see him in the squad, and I'll probably go Tom Ale.
Yeah.
He impressed me in the last trial, so I like his foot speed through the middle. Um,
Yep.
Maybe future Lecker or like Laban, but Yeah, I think we need
They're
another
yeah,
fronty there. What do you reckon?
they're probably a year away. Those young
Mm,
pups. Or
yeah,
Nick
100%.
is what 18, from what I
Oh,
understand,
bro, he's young, young. Yeah, like
and his
19,
footwork's
18.
good. You can see he's got the footwork there, man. He's got the speed. He's
Yeah.
gonna come right, but just needs a bit of time.
Keep an eye on New South
Um,
Wales Cup, man. That kid, oh,
yeah,
freak.
yeah, no, absolutely. While we're there as well, our Warriors and RFX fanatics are saying, who do you guys reckon will get that 14 spot on the bench for round one? Yeah,
It's a good
interesting. Like,
conversation.
it's like I've been, CHT seems like a really interesting, very polarizing figure. I didn't realize how much people still harboring, a lot of hate from those
Mm,
past times,
yeah.
But there's understandable to that. But I think he could get that spot. But I mean, you got to say Walker's the always the traditional 14.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll go walks again.
yeah, I'll go Walker
I
again.
can't see us carrying Freddie again because I feel like if we carry Freddie, our bench start like even though Jazzy
Yeah,
and
it,
that
it,
play
it,
up front,
you play 17. You play 16 men pretty much. Like
exactly.
you leave Freddie out. There's a lot of those patterns. If everyone remembers, I can't remember which games exactly, but we wouldn't use a player. I don't know if it was Freddie or who was it, Sirenen sometimes, or
Yeah.
there were players we wouldn't use.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, they would sit on the bench and just wouldn't get game time. But
yeah,
Freddie was definitely one of them. Freddie
and I,
was one
and
of
I
them.
actually think Webster is actually roles like that. I think he can get a lot of minutes out of his players.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
yeah, and I think he actually trusts that he can get a 16-man bench, a 3-man bench with an extra to do a job. And I think a lot of the time he did get that achieved.
And I do
Uh,
think that there's a lot of chat at the moment around obviously Jazzy's performance in the multi All Star game. There's a lot of talk around obviously his service out of hooker and like Walker last year. I didn't really like seeing Walker getting into that hooker role either, but like if we got to deal with that for 20 minutes just to rotate Wado off, it's not as bad as what like I guess we're saying. I guess like
yeah,
Freddie's awesome to have there, but if we're not gonna play him, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I think if Egan comes off, usually it would be due to injury or whatever's going on, and hopefully that
yeah,
doesn't happen. You know?
yeah. And a lot of us agreeing with Walker. Jacko here is saying, yeah, I don't hate CHT, but play. Yeah, and he will. I
Yeah, I
think
think
there's a
so.
progression for him.
Yeah,
I've been chucking his name out there just for the sake of it, but it's good to just see where everyone's at with him. I think people are probably are willing to wait on his development. And Air Warriors Faithful has joined and says, good to see no Bunty.
good to see no
Yeah,
Bunty.
we know where you stand. We know where you stand, brother. Um, CHT and Rewiti Hokomo. CHT was quite quiet in the trials, sorry, probably, but first game back. And Rewiti is saying, my bench is Walker, Jazz, Forward Ale, or Bunty till Zion ready to make their spot. Paul, and then prime time saying Paul Roach looks like a star in the making. Yeah,
I like
it's
Paulie.
a lot of we have to acknowledge, and we talked about this a bit last week. A lot of our squad is looking really good across the board.
Yeah,
Like there's something we can find positive about nearly every player,
yeah,
um, and something that we feel they could add. Like I was talking about CHT having that left sided kick. I felt that could be an addition.
yep,
You're looking at Paulie Roach, and people asking, "Hey, how can we get this young kid in there? He's got leg speed, and then you
yeah,
go Halasima, you can go through late, it's just really good that we're picking, there's not this drop off. I mean, depth is all about you have your starters, and then if your drop off is too much, then when injuries come, it's just going to be too hard a mountain to climb.
exactly,
You want your starters here, and then you want your depth just about there, or close to,
100%,
So yeah,
100%.
it's great discussion, guys. I think it's awesome.
And I think we've touched on it so many times, but the interchange that we usually run with is so versatile that if we do have a dropout in our starting lineup, we could play one of these boys that are usually on the bench, and we like if we are worried about our juniors not being at that level, we don't have to play them for as long of minutes as usual. Like having, I keep saying it, bro, and I keep hammering like having Dylan Walker at our squad just opens up so many doors for us. Like he plays center, he can play
Yeah,
six. Like he's not the best in all these positions, but like he just opens up the versatility of if anyone goes down, like and same as Catewell now. Like obviously Curran was our man now, but like Catewell can do that, Jazzy can do that a lick. Like Murata can definitely play center. We've seen it before. Like if
yeah.
anything happens, man, we're covered, man.
Yeah, yeah, and I came in pieces. Pause. I don't know if that. um, I might give that a pause right there. Says young Penrith recruit has some gold in him. We'll be the perfect coach to get him to first grade. Lots of potential. Yeah,
Hanson, yeah.
and there's that kid like Hanson. I loved what his kicking game. He's probably got actually quite a strong kick. I'd love to actually see him compared to Metcalf in terms of volume kicking and length kicking, even height. I thought
Yeah.
some of his kicks were just. He had two kicks that I noticed. He might have only had two kicks, and I thought, okay, they were pretty much pinpoint. And he's got a lot of potential too. Um, let's go back to Rocco Berry, man. Are we? Are are you pretty much confident that Rocco is going to be that starting right center?
I I hundred I'm gonna say yeah. I have to like for me if I'm picking it is like you gotta like we gotta take into account last year's performance from Rocco as well, and I think Rocco like leaps and bounds. Like his level jumped last year, and he looked incredible towards the end of last year. Defensively, he's so strong, and like that's make me feel so safe to have him and Roger either end. And also like just that line running that he was like playing with on that right side, like. The Sharkies were struggling to deal with it in that game, where Sifa and that were struggling to deal with the inside of Barry just pumping that inside hole.
Yeah,
And then like in the Knights game, very similar things. I can't go anything away yet, but Ali is like he's making a case at the moment, and this is what we want from our juniors that are coming up through. Like it's good to see him play with the effort and the vigor. Like he'll be there sometime, but I just don't know where we
yeah,
fit him. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
He'll have a run sometime this year, I'd say.
Yeah,
Um, thoughts on being far from fanatics?
yeah.
Um, those little grubbers that they kept getting blocked.
Wasn't working.
Wasn't working. But that happens sometimes. A lot of halves.
Mm,
They just sort of haven't now. There's a lot of growth for him probably.
yeah,
Personally. But in the same sense, like give these guys time to develop. I suppose next year is the big year where we're going to see a transition. But at least in this year, get him another year in cup.
yeah,
You know, let him prove himself even more. But you want, like we're talking about, we want guys. We don't want massive drop off between depth and starters. So
yeah.
if he can, he's probably in that behind CHT. I'm saying at this stage.
I'm gonna say yeah, that cup side's gonna be really hard to even get through as well. Like thinking that
Yeah.
if Mets or TMM get that six roll and drop down, it'll be Chanel and Luke Metcalf or Chanel and TMM in those halves there.
Yeah.
So probably 14, maybe if he finds time. So he'll
Yep.
develop, man. Like that trial, you can't really go too much off one full trial and that. And he's had some decent games in cup and that last year. But yeah, still got a ways to grow. I think we saw that the other day
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, yeah, and just going on into Instagram, guys. Ali putting pressure on Rocco to perform. Definitely, man. I agree with that.
100%.
Tiawaho. And Alex Jones will be interesting to see how Luke Hansen goes in cups this season. Yeah, someone to
Mm.
really watch out for, Luke Hansen. I'd love to see his old package.
I want to see how old he is.
Pause. Shouldn't have said that, but
I still think he's pretty young, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
He is like he's what 18 maybe. Like is he?
I don't know if he's
Yeah,
available for cut. Like obviously, SG Ball is I think just finished up or it's had its like couple of games there. I don't think he
yeah,
can play Cup, but obviously like oh he can play SG Ball, but he should be able to play Cup. But again, like as I said, like our depth in our halves, man. I don't know how much game time he will get at Cup, if that makes sense. Unless we run one of these boys at 18th man, maybe we'll see more Hanson later on. But hopefully we see more because he's got. I love these. Like obviously the big thing for him was his chase down on D. Like it shows so much effort there, and
yeah,
we want to see more of that. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. J.K. Berry will hold a spot. Only an injury will get him replaced. Yeah, I think so. I think
Mm.
that's pretty much that's right there. And then me and the HTB are presidents of the Berry fan club. Hey, all of our players. Anton's the association of president of
Oh,
fan
Bunty.
base Bunty. So we
Yeah.
all got our own little clicks. Hey guys, if you are here on YouTube, please can you give us a like and a subscribe? It really helps us and the algorithm, And if you have
100%.
subscribed, put on the notifications, please. Um, and but great to have you guys here. Look, let's. I want to answer this question from Aston on Instagram. He's saying, "What's your guys' thoughts on Hamlin Uele?" Let's actually look at this right now.
Mm, yep.
The Hamlin Uele signing. Do you think we genuinely went at him, or was he just trying to bump up, his own kind of? Because that's quite quickly, I suppose, signing with the Sharks.
Mm.
At the same time, I'm not too angry. I'm not even. It's kind of like, oh well, okay.
I think we gave him a crack.
Yeah,
I think we gave him a crack. We've been hearing these rumors for a little bit though. That was a thing. Like during the off season, there was all these rumors that like ULA was gonna get like an offer from us. But yeah, I don't know if it's like one of those ones where we did dodge a bullet because I was kind of really interested to see what we could have done with like ULA.
yeah,
But again, like, when we take into account of his age and all that sort of stuff, maybe I'm changing my tune a little bit from my first thoughts of, if we were
yeah,
going to lose AFB. But you know what I mean? Like, 750K, like, with the new salary cap and all that, it's not hectic, but like, it's still like it's a decent chunk of change where we could be giving to one of these younger boys to keep them along. And that's our biggest thing now is our depth, as we saw in the trials. I'm sure there's some NRL teams going to be trying to pinch one of these boys like Halasima will put on a show, Laban put on a show.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They'll try and
yeah.
do what they can. So we got money for those boys now.
I actually think the Warriors will make a play probably at the end of the season. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
I think they'd be happy to look at their whole squad this year in the forwards and then
Mm.
make an evaluation towards the end of the year. I mean, if you pick up someone top notch,
Yep.
then get them. But otherwise, I think let the year play out.
Yep.
Look, like you said, signing these guys like Halasima, Mayu, um, and then it might be a totally different kind of a rotation, how we kind of compensate, or and
Mm.
I think Webster's the guy to do that. He'll no doubt have a plan. He'll be probably forward planning, thinking,
I think there's a
like,
couple in mind if there we were to at the end of the season look on the market. For me, Griffin Neem, I still think even from memory, like 2025, he comes off the on the market or whatever.
yeah,
I would love to have someone like him at the club, but like again, these guys would probably be chasing a decent offer. Where these younger boys to keep them around the club, we could probably keep multiple and just keep rotating and for not anything crazy if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like salary cap is the way to manage your salary cap is the way to stay up top there. I know
yeah,
we're
yeah.
losing AFB, but I think we've got some boys that can cover around that depth.
Yeah, yeah. I actually think there's a good point by 328 Chopper is Sharks will be top heavy on middle forwards. I think so too.
Mm.
Rudolph, Hunt, BHU, Kalfusi, Hazelton, their rival wave. Yeah, there will be some guys dropping out.
I'm not too sure if they've re-signed Hazelton too
I
because
have
he'd
them.
probably be chasing. I'm not sure, bro, but like he'd be chasing some decent coin, especially if he has a season. He's going to grow from last season. He looked great last season, so
Yeah.
yeah, he's a good little
Zay,
player.
Ethan Harris saying we should go after Xavier Willison. Willison would be a one if you can get him.
It'd be incredible, but I don't see it happening.
It just won't. They won't. The Broncos will. That's
Nah.
their future, bro. That's
Yeah,
that Willison and Takuta and Haas are their blooming, run to a premiership pretty much.
it'd be incredible to have, but
Oh, but yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't.
But
I don't see it happening.
that is the right guy to get.
Yeah.
A young pup, kind of coming of age,
Yep.
and that you want to build around for the next couple of years. But yeah, I think Webby will look at it and look at his own backyard to at least to start off with.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think that's yeah, and this is a good point. Jacko's, we're talking about these guys. Cows will not let Neem go without it.
Yeah. No,
There's
bro.
actually a really tight market on props right now.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like I've noticed, like there's hardly any movements in the propping.
100%,
Top tier
brother.
props, like they hardly ever get released or they hardly ever move. They usually get signed up real quick. So I feel that's kind of a tight area.
Yeah.
But
Hundred
yeah, no,
percent. 100%.
okay, yeah, but I think we dodged a bullet, everyone. If we're being honest, I think I really do. You feel
Yeah.
that same way, Ash?
Yeah, yeah. We first announced that we were looking at him, I was looking at positives. Now seeing it gone, I kind of, I don't know. It's just the usual way of things. I'm like, now I'm seeing it, all the negatives that could have came with that signing.
Yeah.
Obviously, seeing that name on paper, I was going, how could this work? Now I'm looking at it like how that could have gone wrong, if that makes sense.
The crazy thing would be is if Zion Mayu
Mm,
became a Leota. Moses Leota. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If we unearth the Moses Leota and Zion Moy or something like that,
Yep.
bro, we're okay. You know,
Yep.
and then
100%, man.
top it off with another. So got to give these young guys. They do need a crack at some time this year.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Kiwi Raiders saying keep our youth in the props. Yep. Also, hope Bunty and Ali goes up a gear. They need to know AFB leaving the opportunity up to them if they. Yeah, that is a motivating factor, man. I genuinely believe if you really want a spot, Ali and Bunty. Well, I think specifically Ali. Um,
Yep.
there's a spot
Fair.
there. And yeah, so now good points, everyone. Look, let's go through the squad still. Roger, what are you expecting from Roger for this game? You want what 20? How many minutes do you want from him? What are you looking for?
Honestly, I'll get the shakes if he comes back after halftime. I'll be like, come on, boys. Like, let's
Yeah,
be
yeah,
real. Like, you
yeah,
know what I mean? Put the Ferrari back in the garage. Like, we've seen
yeah,
him. So I'd hope for like, if he gets a half, I reckon that's fair. I'd probably say just before half, probably give him like 30. We've seen enough, in my opinion, but I do agree that maybe we need to get more runs for the combination, as we keep saying. The combination does need to build between him and Marcelo, but it looks great as well. So give him like 30, I reckon. As I said, if he comes on after half time, that's where it's like, come on, boys, like, you know,
yeah,
savor him a little bit. You know what I
yeah. I
mean?
agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
No, I'm with you. I think just get him through some work. Would love to see just maybe a period where we're defending on our line for and just see how he copes with that type of volume of stuff like that. I mean,
100%, man,
we've seen an
100%.
offensive package that we're happy with.
Yep.
I mean, if he's playing against Val Tavares, that'd be nice just to burn him, burn old Val.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, yeah. I know Val's
He,
been training the house down apparently, but
he's
you
lost
never
10
know.
kilos, brother. He's slimming. He's slimming. I
Yeah,
still
yeah,
like the Dolphins. I know we're not a Dolphins channel or anything like that, but with the Dolphins, like them with Tessie, like Tessie's had a really good preseason. Obviously, he's been killing it. Like Jake Averillo's sitting on their 16. Like their bench, like I know the reserves, they got so much more coming off like the reserve list and that.
yeah.
But like to have Valance and Averillo,
It
like
is no.
Tessie get that
Yeah,
over. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Avarillo's got that speed.
Mm,
Val's pretty good. Yeah, I actually think they're gonna just pick up a little bit. I mean,
flags, yeah,
Flegs is a nice addition. Farnworth, I really like as well. So
100%.
Jermaine will have I'm sure he'll have another good year as well.
If I'm thinking the right way, Jermaine was the right side winger last year, right? So
Yep.
we'd probably see Herbie versus RTS. So pretty
Oh, that would
decent
be
showing
nice.
there.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
that would be a good. Give me half an hour of that. I'd love to see that.
100%.
Because we know we've seen Herbie up against us last year, so that'd be nice to see.
100%.
Let's go through Montoya. I think that's fine. We don't really talk Metcalf and Johnson. I suppose
Mm.
I like that. I'm pretty much settled on Metcalf being the starting 5'8". Are you
Yep.
happy with Metcalf over
Yeah, man.
Tamati at this stage?
100%. I've kind of been saying it through the preseason, and as I got to keep saying as well, this is not like, because I don't want to push any hate onto like Tomate. Like Tomate, people forget how good he was the start of last year and that. Like he didn't have the best end to last year, but I don't think he was like horrendous at all. I would have been totally happy to see TMM in that six role as well. I was like either way. I just feel like go with Metcalf for our youth to bring him up through. We also got to hang the bone in front of him because he still hasn't re-signed with us yet, has he? So we still got to hang like you are in our starting lineup, you are in our future. We want you here, and give him as much time to build with our squad. So that's the thing for me. I just want to see our future out on the field as well, and just be like, all right,
Yep.
this is where we're at.
Yep. No, I'm with you. I've come around to Metcalf. I mean, I was a big Tamati fan.
Mm,
But I've seen enough from Metcalf to know that he needs a real crack. And
yeah.
like, if the club are going to invest in him, they probably want to see a good string of games.
Yep.
Because there's every likelihood he could end up at the Dragons or somewhere
I'm
like that. If he has a good season and we don't sign him up.
I'm just
But
really excited to see how much Sheck, because defensively, as we spoke about in our review of the game and that, like how much Sheck gave so much like a big stress reliever for Montoya out on that side, decision
yeah,
making
it
wise. You know
was.
what I
It was. You
mean?
could tell.
And hopefully that helps out a lot with Jacko as well, because Jacko did get into a part there where he was missing quite a few tackles and stuff like that, which could have end up not looking as good for Mets as well. So that's the biggest thing for Mets is defensively. But hopefully Sheck can like shore the ship there as well. You know what I mean, and really help out a young boy coming through and improve his defense as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think their left side is gonna find its time. I think we'll probably see a lot of misses on that side
Mm,
initially.
yeah,
You know, but I think over time they'll get it sorted out.
yeah.
And Fanatics saying Metcalf is bulked up. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed his bulk size? I haven't really seen it, but
Little bits and pieces, man. Like I know with the documentary stuff that they're doing on YouTube at the moment, did come out and say that he bulked up a little bit, and
okay.
he's like kept a lot of his speed. But you hear that so much through the
Yeah,
NFL these days. You know what I mean? So you don't really, not to say you don't want to take them at their word because I reckon they're real. But I heard Tommy Turbo reckons that he's just as quick as what he is back in 2021 after how many hamstring strains. So these are the ones that we'll have to see it through the season, but he looked great in that 7 role in the like the trials as we spoke about, and I expect him hopefully healthy and just firing with that speed, man,
yep.
speed.
And just while we're on that topic of Metcalf, Maddie Leah saying after SJ retires, who takes the halfback?
Mm,
I've got Metcalf as that guy.
I do now.
What about you, man? Are you kind of
I
do you
do
see?
now. I've swayed to it. I've swayed to it a lot. If you spoke to me last year, it was Ronnie, like 100%. Ronald
Yep.
Volkman. I'm a massive fan of Ronnie, but um, looking at our depth now, I got Mets, and after watching that preseason trial, he showed a little bit to me that I didn't notice before last season. Last season, I thought he struggled with combinations on that side, especially working with the edge back rower. In that last trial, the unders line that he got Laban the run and the way he showed that defender to push too far out, showed a lot of things. And his kicking game, man, like it's yeah, I love that little nudge. I love that as a halfback. So yeah, Mets is going to be my future one for me.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, looking at the market, there's again in the halves area, a lot of
Who's
clubs are
there?
developing. Yeah, and who's
Yeah,
there that isn't signed up? So I
like
think with the
Reynolds.
expansion, yeah, I think with expansion, like it's caused a lot of teams to just bunker down
Yeah,
and sign who they've got. I mean, you can try pick up someone, but again, Metcalf, when you try and sign Aussies, again, it's kind of like it could be hit and miss. Metcalf's been here a year or two. He knows what he's in for.
yep.
But yeah, those are some of the issues that I know, no doubt, the club will be trying to address.
You're 100% right though. The market is so dry of like quality halfbacks to bring over to New Zealand at least, like
Yeah,
we had Chatty Townsend a couple of stages there. He's now getting way like, past it at the moment. He's probably looking at his last couple of years. Sorry to Chatty. I love you,
yeah,
Chatty, but Adam Reynolds is getting
yeah,
older.
yeah, they
DCE's
are.
getting older. Like, and
Yeah,
I don't see anyone else other than Cleary that's really like maybe Mitchell Moses, but they're all locked up to long term
yeah,
deals. Like,
yeah,
I don't see
yeah,
anything else.
yeah. I think Metcalf is probably that next best in that
Mm,
lower tier
100%.
from elite to pretty good. Jacko here, Mets is our future seven, but I wish Volks had been kept. Yeah, you probably would look now that I'm looking at it. Um, it's volume kicking for me, and that's where maybe Hansen at some stage in 2 years or 3 years time he might
Mm,
get a look. But you never know. In Aussie talent is so fickle and fragile.
yeah,
We got to really focus on developing our own, and hopefully that's a department that does improve in the halves.
yeah,
Probably we'll see that through the Jersey Flag and then the SG Ball, but it is a few years away,
yep,
so a lot to think about. But I suppose we just got to be patient as fans.
100%.
SJ, listen, I didn't realize SJ was like actually, yeah, he was actually playing. I thought he was coming. I thought he was coming back in round one, but is he all right now? Is he?
Yeah, by the looks of it, yeah, obviously we heard in the off season it wasn't a calf, was it? It was some little tweak that he picked up in the off season, and we thought that we weren't going to see him in the preseason, and we'd see him round one. I thought there was a little bit of news before this as well that Sheck may not have been playing this game as well. So when I saw him on the list, I was like, yeah, mad, I'll get to see him again. But yeah, if SJ gets through unhampered and all that, lock and loaded, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you want him to play half an hour, 40 minutes? Are you kind of happy with that as well? Or?
Very similar to
Yeah, yeah,
RTS. If I get to see a good 30 minutes out of him, then like legit same thing. Take the keys, bring him off.
yep. No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Mm.
I want to talk to you about AFB
Yep.
and look. the only thing I think holding AFB back would be mentally, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's gone through what he's gone through. He's moving back to Aussie.
Yep.
That's in the back of his head, getting back close to his family, and I'm happy with how it ended up.
Yep.
I've got no harms or qualms with that. But guys playing a year out, knowing that um, he's eventually going to go home. He's got a contract settled at the Sharks. His future is secure. Do you expect him to drop off, or do you think he's that type of player that he will want to leave a lasting impression here, or
Yep.
do we not know? What do you think?
My thoughts on AFB with where his head could be at. A lot of it, I'm putting a lot of trust, obviously, in him and his mentality. I think we've seen a lot of times, especially even last year when we were going well, in little moments where our team was dropping off, and even just like conceding tries, like the way it made him feel on the field. And I feel like he's that type of player. As soon as he gets on that field, he's going to play for whatever logo is on his chest. I don't know if he ever wanted to be a Warrior and all that sort of stuff, but I love those sort of players anyway. That no matter what, when they get on that field, no matter what logo, I reckon he's going to go out and perform at his best. Because
Yeah,
number one, I think he wants to show everyone that he's still like an upper echelon front rower in this competition. Now he's been put in the likes of even though before we all believed it as well before, but he's getting put in the likes with Payne Haas and Fish and all those boys.
yeah,
I think his mentality, his competitiveness will want to keep him there. So I feel like that's the biggest thing driving him this year. Instead of hopefully the thought of obviously having a confirmed future at the Sharks and wanting to just jet off. I don't see that from him. I expect him to come out and play full heart. I don't think he's that type of guy to really half ask anything.
yeah, yeah. Jacko here saying if we perform well and are winning games, AFB will be fine. Yeah, I think Webster will have a good feel for it.
Mm,
I don't see it because I feel as though not that he's a system player, but I think the system caters to him doing well as long as he does his job.
yeah.
And I think that's kind of the key there. And Kiwi Ray is saying AFB might have the Maloney syndrome.
Far.
Yeah, Maloney, man. Was it 2012? Was it that year? It was just flimming.
That
I
was
can't
tough.
remember. Yeah, that was a
That was
tough
tough.
year, bro.
Yeah, it was 20. I think it was 2012,
Yeah,
2011. We had that grand final, and
yeah, they're just
yeah,
flimming.
just
Yeah,
went from
no.
there.
Yeah,
And the writing was on the wall.
yeah, yeah.
But I think Jacko brought up a good point though. Like I think a lot of the mentality it will be strained if we don't go too well this year. I
Yeah,
think a
yeah.
lot of it
No,
does come down to our form.
morale will drop. Morale could
Mm,
drop.
100%.
It's absolutely bang on, Jacko. That could happen if it does fall apart a little bit.
Yeah.
And like I'm not saying these guys. I believe they're all rights will go again for a big push.
Yep.
But I've seen guys like SJ in the past. I'm just saying in the past. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think with Webster will happen. But
Yep.
when things start to go south, it can turn pretty bad.
100%.
Um,
100%.
but I'm expecting that they will maintain.
Yep.
But yeah, okay. Let's move into Egan, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Wow, Wade has just grown leaps and bounds. I mean, I was listening to Guru and he talked about how he watched Wade at Penrith and, it didn't look like he was going to have an amazing career, but then he's just grown and developed and
Yep.
he's a player's player. Harry Grant watches Wade Egan tape.
Yep.
We've seen just how great he is. Um, what do you expect from Wade this season? Are you looking for improvement or consistency or everything? What is your thoughts on Wade?
I think the biggest thing, I think we all agree on this point, is we just want to see Egan get through a season. I can understand the odd head knock here and there or whatever's going on. I just want to see him play as much footy as possible. Because I think the more that he gets on that football field, the better he keeps getting. When we first signed him at the Warriors, I felt like, there was so many moments I was banging my head against the wall. When we see like a 2 meter out, fifth tackle play, and he's just darting out a dummy half, and I'm just like, brother, like why? And now look at him, like he's grown so far, leaps and
Yeah.
bounds. I just want to see him get through a full season unhampered by any injuries. I know injuries happen in rugby league, but I think that's the biggest thing we can wish on this guy because I think he's got potential to continue on to be amazing. I still I don't think Wade Egan will ever be, and I hope no one ever compares him to I don't think he'll ever be like a Harry Grant, like a Cameron Smith. I think he's probably just under that level, but he's amazing for what we have, and he
Yeah.
unlocks so much of our spine. Hopefully he proves me wrong and becomes the best hooker in the comp. But like, I just got to like look at it, pretty straight and standard. Like, he's what he is. You know what I mean? Like Greg Alexander said he would be nothing, and like the reason why they let him go, at Penrith, like he said, there's a reason why we let him go. I was like, well, I don't see that reason anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think he's done amazing to get to this level, and hopefully he continues on the upwards trajectory.
Yeah. For me, I'd rather see 60 minutes of Wade Egan every week, than 80 minutes of Wade Egan every 2 weeks in as an injury or HIA.
I do agree
I
with that.
I know that's kind of where Suriname, and maybe we're gonna see something where Walker or Jazz, or it could be CHT. We don't know yet, but
Yeah.
that's where I want it to be. If
Yep.
if if a brother can't cope with it, and we're just being realistic,
Yep.
if he can't play 80 without getting concussions or things like that, I'm happy with 60, because those 60 minutes that I'm getting from him
Yep.
are world class.
100%.
And I think there needs to be some real kind of tight. I think the Warriors were getting a bit tighter on how they used him, and limiting his minutes, but
Yep.
I, I need to see that there's a structure, because I want him on the field every week.
Yeah.
And I don't mind if it's 50, 60 minutes.
Yep.
I think that's way better than losing him for games. And I think, Freddie Lussick's good. He does a great job. But
Yep.
Wade Egan, just, we need him desperately.
100%.
But guys, if you're on watching this, please can you give us a like? We're trying to get our likes up, and subscribe, please, if you have first time coming in here, and put on the notification bell, and you'll continue to see our content coming through. We appreciate you guys here, and we continue to answer your questions. Thank you, Warrior NRL fanatics. Yes, please like the stream.
100%.
And Fanatics is saying here, my only doubts with Egan is the amount of head knocks. Yet we just and
Yeah.
that he got last. Yeah, there were a lot, and I think it's like a compounding thing. It's like, a
100%.
boxer that gets knocked out
Yep.
once. It's easier for them to get knocked out again.
Like we've seen with Luke Keary.
Yep,
Obviously,
Kerry's another one.
Boyd Corner's the big story about it. Obviously, we want him to be as healthy as possible during the football and also after football, if that makes sense. So, yeah, especially in this game. What's your thoughts? Do you want to see him for like again just a half in this one, or do you want to see him for a little bit more? I would probably go
Half.
for
I'm
about
gonna.
30.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Half.
going half.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't think we could run him for too long in this one, especially when we're carrying Lussick on the bench. I do see
Yeah.
like we're probably going to rotate, but yeah,
We're
put
just
the
wanting
pressure to
these
us.
guys to just have a good run of it's just fitness, really, right?
Yeah.
And maybe run through a bit of structure, a bit of plays, but
Yep.
yeah, just gonna see them get through a little bit of work. What do we got here? Oh, thank you, Ngo Mates. I like this. Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, my bro.
Thank you, brother. And up on YouTube, thank you, guys. Appreciate that. And Ash Thomas, yes, please go over to Ash's page and give it a like, guys. Ash Thomas, I think it's 11, Ash.
On TikTok, yeah.
Ash Thomas
Or on
11 on
Instagram.
TikTok, and on YouTube, it's just straight
Uh,
Ash Thomas.
yeah, just look up my name on
Yeah, man.
YouTube. You should find me.
We appreciate that, guys. I really we do. Yeah, and Kiwi Radio wouldn't mind Lussick for 20 minutes and give Egan a spell, but man, we need Jazz Walker Newcourt. Yeah,
Mm.
it's it's really. Oh no, okay. What does that say? Okay, so wait, let's get this right here from the bro. It's just no mates, G. Ingo. Sorry, man. I was giving you the. Oh, call me Nigel. Okay, brother. We'll call you Nigel, man. Yeah, I
What's
was calling you
going
the
on, Nige?
Ingo. Is that the silent G? My bad, man. I love it, brother. Love it, Nigel. No mates. Okay.
Not the Solon G ones.
The silent G. Nah, cool, man. Thank you for dropping in, bro. We
Appreciate you, brother.
appreciate your comments every week as well, bro. Um, Look, Mitch Barnett. I think that's an interesting one. A lot of us might have had New Corday as that guy.
Yep.
Do you happy with Mitch as that starting prop?
Yep, I'd first.
Let's preface this by saying we're only looking in this, and I've been assuming that this is the starting team. It may not be,
Yeah.
but in this situation, are you happy with, say, Mitch as the starting prop?
100%. In my predictions, like to even before the season and all that, even before we had Anton on with his Bunty Afar arguments and stuff like that, Mitch Barnett, like I love Mitch Barnett so much as a player, especially signing him from the Knights. Like we saw what he was at the Knights. The one thing you couldn't question him on a football field is his effort, and he's just going to go as hard as he wants. And I love that out of him. And I know there's obviously the argument of, starting someone that wants to go balls to the wall, go out there and just play with aggression, but also like I love that thought of us getting a lot of momentum very early and just compounding so we can later on in the game, if we do come up to a point where we need to rest some of these guys that have injury problems, like injury history, we could get to a place where we could do that and limit a lot of time. But I just love the effort that he has in defense. The biggest thing is like his momentum changing defensive movements
Yeah.
is the big thing for Mitch. And that's the thing I love about him the most. We've seen he's had line breaks for us last year. He was scoring tries. He was doing amazing stuff that way. But I just love what he does in defense and the way he just gets out of the line, wants to put a hit on to change the momentum in the game. And I love that out of him. So what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's the alpha presence, eh? I mean,
Mm.
he was it the 2 games he got sin bin, but if us
Yeah.
hearty league fans love that, like I know it's a bit soft these days,
Well, that Raiders one was soft as, man.
yeah, it was soft, but it was like
But
we love,
it's true.
yeah, I'd rather that. I'd rather you do that than and go for 10 minutes and leave an impression. I do like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm happy with it. I think there's options to it, right?
Yep.
And maybe I'll just bring up what Jacko's saying here. He goes, I thought Newcotty might have been moved to prop. He's bigger than Fisher Harris, so has the size. We did talk about this with Anton, Jacko,
Mm.
and we got a feeling that Newcotty is going to be that prop off the bench,
Yeah.
similar to how he was used at Parramatta. So maybe he's going to have quite a bit of impact. I think off the bench, and maybe it's just interesting. It'll be good to see how they balance that out.
Yep.
And he is bigger than Fisher Harris, so bigger than Fisher Harris. So he has, yep, no, and I think, like I said, assuming that Barnett in this situation is a starter, I got no issue with it. But who knows? New Cordia may start in some games, or
Yeah.
I think Mitch has just a slightly better touch with the ball.
Yeah. 100%.
He was a back rower and a really good back rower. I felt like in terms of leg, his movements are quite crisper.
Yeah.
I think Newcourt is a little bit more of just up and down, or you even notice Newcourt, he just kind of barges over with both hands.
Bounces. Yeah.
Whereas I think Mitch has got a bit more variety.
Yeah.
Very close, like kind of subtly different.
Yep.
But I think it's kind of
No, I 100% agree with
yeah,
that. I think
yeah,
Morata is definitely like the more like better line runner. Well, even like I think Mitch is an amazing line runner in that, but I like Mitch's like little footwork at the line and also the little touches. You're completely right. Like him playing 13, his passing's is pretty good. He's got those little skills, you
yeah.
know what I mean, that he
He's
picked
got
up as
little
an edge
skills.
back rower.
Morata isn't really that type of. He's going to be first decoy off first receipt off dummy half. You know what I mean, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Mitch is actually a ball player. So I think Mitch. There might be times where Tohu comes off, Mitch moves to the 13 for moments, or it could be Walker, whatever it is,
As I keep
and
saying, like I just
and Newcourt
envision
jumps into the front row. Yeah, stuff like that.
I just envision Spencer Linyu off the Panthers with Nick
Yeah,
there. That's what I envision.
We had games there where Blimmin Spencer Lin, that game against the Panthers, and Spencer Linyu destroyed us.
Yep.
At that
100%.
back end. So if I can get that out of Marata,
Mm-hmm.
and people know they got to deal with it, mate, that's what I would love. You know what I mean? So
100%.
But no, good points, everyone. Okay, Ford. He's kind of like a teacher's pet a little bit, man. He's getting almost a full game last week. Webby's just in love with this guy, man. I
Yeah.
mean, what's your thoughts? Do you
He's
think did he need a full run maybe last week? I'm not too sure. He almost played the whole
he's
game.
legit in that mold of Mannering. He's legit in. I wouldn't say like I'm not gonna say he's as good as these guys. Like we'll put that out there, right? I'm saying in the mold of his mentality and the way he sort of plays out there. He's an 80-minute guy. Like he wants to play as much footy as possible. I know like there's times he's out on his feet, he misses tackles, but his effort is never questioned. Like no matter what. And I think that's the biggest thing that we love to see as Warriors fans when we have had moments in our history where we've seen players not look interested as much. You know, and he's just out there. He wants to play footy, and I think he's going to grow again this year. Obviously, this is his first year with us last year with the first preseason, first time playing a full 80 minutes on the edge back rower as much as he could. coming from the Dragons, they played him a lot more as the middle, barely even played him. So another year under his belt, I just see him developing even more. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I want to see more of these type of players for our club.
Yeah, in prime time saying on Instagram, our forwards got dominated by the Broncos pack last year. Yeah, we need to strengthen that up. Good point, prime time. And also Phil Paletti is saying hopefully Murata has been working on his tackling technique preseason. He's too valuable to be suspended every 2 weeks. Yeah, he has had some. I mean, the stuff he got suspended for, that punch on Blimmin, the feeder was so
Fafita.
stupid.
Yeah.
And then the other one was the leg drop, what was it, hip drop, whatever it is.
Which was stupid as well. The
But
Sharkies
stupid
one,
as
wasn't
well.
it?
It
Was it
was
the
it
Shark?
was yeah. So
No, the
two
Sharkies one was the year before, or
Sharkies
was
one.
it
No,
last year?
no, it was the Sharkies one
It
last
was
year.
last year.
Yeah, yeah, it was last year.
Yeah.
So no, it was. I think he's been done, hard done by in a lot of those situations.
Yep.
But
100%.
no, fair enough. He still needs to be a little bit sharper.
I think what we also got to take into account, if he is going to be coming through the middle, I do believe that, like, just like growing up playing footy when I was playing hooker and I never got to these guys' level, so don't say that. But like through the middle, you're a lot easier to defend, like, because a lot of the forwards are very much straight up and down. You got late footwork and all that. When we're playing on the edge, like Morata's such a big body to cover like backs and that are cutting inside,
Oh,
outside.
bro,
Tackles go
Morata's up there,
wrong.
bro. Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
Morata's up there. I mean, guys, I think with Cape Walk coming in, people we've just kind of forgotten about Morata. Let's not get it twisted.
Mm,
Morata and SJ, having Morata on his inside, bro, helped SJ a lot. Like,
100%.
and he's no scrub. So I think we just need to appreciate. I think he's going to go into a new role,
Yep.
and I think he'll do a good job. I think he's a very good quality player.
Yeah, 100%.
So very happy. Yeah, and Jacko's saying here, Webster loves Jacko. He hard to hate. Yeah, he loves
Damn
his
it,
Jackos.
Jacko.
That's for sure. That's a good one. Okay, where are we at? Kate.
Up
Okay,
to
Capewell, man. Now,
54.
Capewell, yeah. Talk to me a little bit about Capewell in terms of how you see him change. What is he going to change? I
Mm.
suppose coming from Morata as that right back rower, what is he going to do differently, or what does he add to the team
Yep.
that you think is going to enhance the team and take it maybe to a new level? What's
I
your
think
thoughts?
we'll touch firstly on the obvious change is he will not be the barnstorming, straight over the top back rower, all that sort of stuff. But he will be that hardworking. I know we got that in Jacko, but Capewell has that in spades, and like he plays so well on the edge. He's got beautiful line running. But
Yeah,
as I keep saying, the one thing I'm so excited for to have him and SJ on that same edge is that kicking threat. I love that little grubber that SJ has. He's had it all his career. Obviously, watched a lot of Benji coming up through. So, Catewell is one of the best edge back rowers for chasing kicks. Like we've seen it in Origin. You know what I mean? Like with him and Harry Grant. Like I see very similar attacking ways of what we could be using there. Obviously, as I keep saying, he won't be the barnstorming straight over the top edge back rower
yeah,
that Murata was, but he will be a new look, as in a very nimble, beautiful line runner that will chase on every play, and just a high motor, high work rate. That's what I'm expecting from Curdy this year. Obviously, age is the only thing we got to take into account as well, but I think Kurtz is he's an Origin player, and to me, he'll always look like that. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
yeah. I think the role needs a little bit of an upgrade. I mean, I love what Morata was doing, but I feel as though that side can do maybe even a little bit more different, a few different things.
Yeah.
So I'm with you a lot. Jacko here is interesting. Capewell comes with all the hype still to be shown if we really needed him. Okay, he did fall away in the grand final last year, so maybe not Amy Polonia that he was. Yeah, I think that's
But
an
see,
interesting one.
a lot of with that too, Jacko. We got to understand, like a lot of the falling away happened on the right side, which is Jordan Ricky's side. So Ricky didn't
Mm,
have a lot of the best late minutes in that game. I know Curdy has definitely dealt with like a lot of injuries. The biggest thing I worry about with Curdy is his shoulders are very nimble at the moment, and that was the reason why he had a couple of years back he had shoulder surgery, and he put Mam under a shitload of pressure defensively. But he will be playing on the right side now, which is not his left side that he was at the Bronx. I'm yeah, I'm a lot more like he's got a year under his belt. He's been to a grand final. I think he knows what it takes to get there, and I think we need a little bit more of that in our squad as well. So that's
Yeah.
some of the things I'm looking at as well.
Yeah, no, a great point, and good point, Jacko, and yeah, we'd love to see it. I'm just looking forward to seeing these combinations and players. Shout out to Ed's on Instagram. Hey brothers, he's saying, "Who's your interchange first at choice at hooker?" Yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but
Mm.
it's going to be a tricky one to see who. And Causa here is saying Capewell will be our golden point kicker. Is he? Is he got a bit of a drop kick on him? Is he?
Oh, bro, he's done it once or twice.
Is he?
He's
Yeah,
done
yeah,
it once
yeah.
with the Broncos, I think,
Get him
very
in
early on
there,
from memory. And
dude.
then he's done like once where
Yeah.
he's just shanked it, bro. Like, so it's Cody Capes, man. He's one of those guys.
Do the one, you know how in the Samoan against the England game where they had was it, I don't know who was it, but they had Crichton across the other way, and
Yeah.
then so they have SJ on the right, swing it to Catewell, and then Catewell gets the
Oh, not the Latrell one. Remember, like, what was it, a little while ago? I think it was when he was at the Roosters, whatever. They went to swing one way, then swung it all the way to the edge to Latrell to slot that one.
yeah, yeah,
Cody
yeah,
Capes, brah. He's going to be on that edge just slotting field goals. 100%.
yeah. They'll be gold, man. No, good point. They're on your causer. Yeah, just on that, it's I think far out. It's a tricky one because we love that massive pack of New Cordia, Jazz, Walker, and Ale, something like that. That to me is like
Mm,
enough power to cover. But then we're asking again. I've just said I'd rather 60 minutes of Egan than 80 minutes where I'm not gonna see him regularly.
yeah.
So those are things where I'm just like, who is okay? If you were to have a cover, who for you, bro, would it be in the interchange as a hooker cover?
Out of all the options that we have, if we were able to carry him, I would go Freddie because he is a hooker. I know
Yeah,
Chanel can cover so many different positions, and I think Chanel can do it at a click. But I feel like a lot of what our complaints are with our people that cover that hooker role is their service from dummy half. It is slow, and like when we have Jazzy there, it's not as quick as what we want from Egan. And
yep,
same thing with walks. It's not as crispy. It's not as quick. If we were looking for more of that, which is what I see from a lot of Warriors fans in the comment section, is like they're worried about that service. Freddie is definitely the one to be there because he is a genuine hooker. But for me, I'm happy to have Jazzy and Walks and just let them fill in time there.
cover. Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Do
I
15 minutes here or there or whatever it is. Yep.
yeah. I can't see us carrying Freddie because it just for me it just looks like our bench becomes very very small.
Yep.
And nimble. Yeah, we need
Yeah.
to have a couple of bigger bodies there.
Did talk about that a little bit, Ed's about Webster at times has run with a 16-man bench technically.
Mm,
One guy waiting in the wings to only be cover, and he can do it.
yep,
I'm no doubt actually if you could probably actually pull it off with just Walker, Jazz, and Marata.
yep,
I think there's enough minutes in there to get that 3-man rotation to do a job.
yep,
But can you? Yeah, the other question is it may be a matchups thing too, like where you want to alley on that 17-man because you're
exactly.
dealing with a pack like a Broncos or Panthers or so you need size to compete. But
I think
um,
the one thing we need to take into account too is a lot of like Tohu's minutes of we were looking at towards the end of the last season limiting a lot of Tohu's minutes. I feel like obviously Walker, Jazzy can fill in that 13 role. I just feel like when Tohu comes off, I think we still need another bigger body to fill around these spots here.
yeah,
It's not just the hooker and all that. Like Catewell, yeah, they're all long minute forwards. Like we could probably deal with it, but yeah, I just would have feel more comfortable with a bigger body that can rotate.
yeah, nah, good points. We'll move on to Tohu. How you feeling about a captain this year, man? Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Excited, man. I think we all feel exactly the same about Tohu. He's like our warrior captain. He's amazing. What was amazing from him last year was he was scoring a lot more tries for the
Bro, he
middle.
was, yeah, he was. What's the over unders on him? Scored maybe like 10 tries, 8 tries.
Ah, bro, coming
You
from
know,
last year, man,
we
shit.
love
Well,
to.
I don't even know what his try score tally was
It
last
was
year, but
like
I
AF.
remember
It was like, was he at like 8 or 9, maybe 10?
AFB was killing it last year too, try
I
scoring
know
wise.
Toru. I think he took like he didn't get a try early on, and I think he got maybe like a bunch of tries like within like
It was a Titans
a couple.
game,
Yeah,
Manly
the Finland
game.
game. Yeah, and then he got and he started to get some more tries in the back end. Yeah,
That Titans game, we needed it in that moment. And I think that's the
yeah, that was
biggest
huge. It was
example
huge.
for Tohu. You know what I mean? Like in the
Yeah,
big moments we need someone to stand up, like he's gonna be there. And that's Tohu. Like, Tohu's there no matter what. And yeah, ever since we've had him, we've had some bad years, but he's never been anything under like an 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Like he's always been our leader and he's always made me feel so comfortable having him on a football field. So that's
yeah,
the biggest like prop I can have to him.
yeah. No, no, definitely, man. And I think same for him. All these guys, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, depending on what they want to do, but
Yeah.
let's jump quickly. I think we talked a little bit about Freddie Marata. We
hmm
talked about Jazz. You expecting him to? Yeah. What, do you see him as he's locked in as that like on the bench guy?
I think so. I think so. I think I've got rosy colored glasses from seeing him and Walker's connection last year, and I loved what I saw from that. And I feel like if we can get these boys like fit and have that through the middle, I'm really excited for that. I think Jazzy's biggest thing this year is staying fit. He's said it multiple times coming into the season with interviews and all that. Is his biggest thing is staying fit. Um, Obviously, with this trial, I hope he doesn't play too many minutes because he just came off a multi All Star game, which he didn't play a lot of minutes there either. But obviously, I just want him fit and firing for the season, and I think he holds that spot. I think he's just too versatile in many different positions that like I can't see anyone else we can put in that position that's gonna benefit us from
Yeah,
even taking Jazzy out. If that makes sense, I think
it's
he's
yeah.
one of the best for that.
I mean, he works well in that period of time where the
Mm,
defense is soft. He's quick, man. Like he's sharp, work
yeah.
rate's high. Yeah, and he's got a lot of variety of skills. He can distribute in the lock kind of role. Yeah, no, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and he's grown so much with like throughout the years, man. I remember there was a lot of times early on in Jazzy's career I was very frustrated in some of the things I saw from Jazzy, but his effort's always been there. It's just always he's had moments where he's like had lapses in thoughts, obviously defensively in moments and stuff like that. He's grown so much now, and I think under Webby, I hopefully I can see him take another level as again. Especially seeing some of the things we saw from last year. It was an appetizer. Hopefully this season we get to see the main course.
Yeah, no, love it, love it. Hey, let's quickly go, Bunty. Yeah, this would be good just to look at Bunty in terms of off the bench. We talked a lot about him last week,
Hmm.
but just I kind of want to see how that goes. I mean, they could do wholesale changes. They might go to Bunty and Ali in the second half.
Yeah.
Dills Walker, yeah, I think people are like overlooking this, but maybe like you said, the Maldives game just did a little bit of wasn't too sure about how he'd pull up.
Yeah.
So just took him out of that starting squad. But would love to see what would be that starting or what would be the forward pack you'd like to see Walker in terms of like who you'd like to see him work with for say a 20-minute period.
A 20-minute period, so him coming on in this game. I'd love
Yeah,
to see. I reckon we got to get AFB and Mitch. Well, I'd say AFB for sure. We'll probably get like a halftime rest. I reckon.
yep,
Going off it, like Curdy Capes is definitely getting a halftime rest.
yep,
Tohu, I would 100% give him a halftime rest as well.
yeah, yeah.
Jacko probably is more of a guy that could play a lot longer minutes. He did play long minutes in
He's
that last
teacher's
trial
pet,
as
man.
well.
This guy,
Oh,
he's getting
bro,
it.
he eats it
Nah,
up,
that's cool.
bro.
He
Hey,
loves it. He loves it. He loves it.
hey, all you can eat, brother.
All
All
you
you can
can eat,
eat.
brother. All you can eat. Absolutely.
So we'll probably see Walks in with Nick Cotter, maybe Jazzy, and then maybe one of these younger boys in here. And I reckon we'll probably only see him for a very limited amount of time as well. I
Yep.
think we'll just want to see like a 20-minute stint or if that. Just see like something through his legs, see his momentum through the middle and his combinations. But I'd love to still see him like work in with a lot of these interchange, like the 14, 15, 16, 17, instead of being like with the younger boys, if
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. I would actually like to see him with a stint with Jazz,
Yeah.
just to go through some work and just see how it looks. Ale, I think much of the same. If he can get another stint, just gets through some work.
100%.
Leotoa would be a nice one to just see with SJ.
Yep.
See if we could get something out of that for 20-minute period. But I'd imagine they'll just play with Rocco and play through that.
Yeah.
Pomps and Tamaide, these kind of the two odd men out at the moment.
Hmm.
Um, I think it would be clear if they kind of don't get much minutes that they might be. Well, Pompey for sure is on the outer with RTS.
Yep.
And Tamaide, yeah, I'd be interested to see how if he gets a run with Sean, then that might hint to something else. But maybe,
Yeah.
but then again, this Maldives game's kind of put everything out of kilter.
Yeah,
So
because
we
I'm
got
even noticing some of the Dolphins players that have played in that multi game and Indigenous game being in these later
yeah,
reserve
Nicarima,
squads.
yeah, true, yep,
That makes sense. So I think that's definitely something to write in about. Like with Tamade, I would, if I'm looking at this squad, I would think that him and Chanel are probably going to be a halves pairing coming off the bench in the second
yeah,
half,
probably that'd be interesting to
just
see
because
how
of
they go.
injury histories and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, Bomps and Ali, I'll probably say they probably rotate with Sheck and Berry. Maybe Berry will play a little bit more minutes, but Sheck's definitely coming off. Like, I don't
yeah,
see any other thing about that. Yeah,
yeah.
that's why I'm seeing. Yeah, maybe Ali and Afar, as you said, probably starting in that second half front row position.
Yeah, what did you see with this one, bro? Want Jazz to play in Doggy's game? He and Curran seem to have differences. What happened there? I
I
know
don't
it
know. It
seems like
does, bro. It started from the haka,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
You notice it, bro. Look, it had a little bit of spice there, but I thought like from first I was just like, oh, just two mates like with the haka. I think it's a respect thing. You got to face it. And Curran definitely did, and like they shook hands and that. But when shit got real with the push and shove, man, Jazzy was very quick to get in on Joshy there. Again, I think it's all in mates, and Curran came out on Instagram as well and said like, love you, Jazzy," and like one of
Yeah,
his posts and stuff. So I think everything's all good, but
yeah. It's
it's
all
good to
good, man.
see. Just competitiveness.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I came in pieces. This guy here saying only seen Tohu make defensive lapses where he missed tackles or let in tries. Tohu's had moments. I mean, the one against the Broncos where he let Reynolds through. There's a few other ones.
Mm,
I think there does need to be kind of a lessening of the load there, and he says here thinks having capes there will strengthen those comms. Yeah, probably. Yeah,
100%.
I think what Webster's tried to do is actually get as much experience in that forward pack
Mm,
to deal with a lot of that, and I think he's that forward pack. If you go from an experience element, if they all can stay healthy, look, you got guys like Jazz Walker that have been around, in the game for a while. AFBs, there's no one in that forward pack that hasn't had at least 5 years experience. I mean, I don't know where
yeah.
the stats are, but probably I'm saying all of that forward pack has had over 100 plus games. Would you say, or close to?
I would say so. I remember seeing a stat on Instagram. I think we were like the third or the second, like from our signings to
Yeah,
add experience to our team.
yeah,
But I still think we still got a fairly young squad experience wise as well, which is really
yeah,
good to see our forward pack being full of experienced players. Like, a lot of it can fall apart through the middle, and seeing a lot of these
yeah.
guys
It
be the
can.
brigade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Ford is probably the only one that hasn't had that, but he's got an old head on him. I think he's got a mature head, kind of a.
Very much so.
Yeah, but you look at those guys. I mean, even Morata's probably played close to 100 or maybe 90, or Jazz, I'd
Yeah.
say closer in the 80, 90, but been around for a long time.
A lot of the
Um,
big things too is like, think of Premiership success. Like, I know Tohu hasn't had a Prem in how long, but I'm pretty sure he's had a taste of it. Kate Wells had a taste of it with the Sharkies and Penrith. Um,
yep.
Looking at obviously RTS has had a taste of it with the Roosters. There's a lot of like Premiership quality through here. Dylan Walker's had a taste of it. This is what I like to see. You know what I mean? Guys that know how to get there.
Yep.
That's the big thing, especially in finals time.
Yeah, and actually, great point here. Eric's Johnson, congrats to the Uso Jazz for his newborn. Yeah, I just saw that post.
Congrats, Jazzy.
Congrats, Jazzy, man. That is awesome. Being a father, and no doubt, they watch those late nights, bro. It starts. You're in, man. It's feeding time and all that, but no doubt. Congratulations, brother.
Congratulations,
I
brother.
would love to hear those things and see, rugby league, as much as we love the game, it's about developing great people and families. So it's great to see all those types of things.
100%.
Look, let's just quickly touch on the Dolphins. We are playing a team. We're not playing invisible ghosts. We've been talking about our guys for a little bit long. But what do you see out of their squad? I mean, they have bolstered their squad.
Mm.
Farnworth, the likes of that.
Yep.
Maybe and just talk about their halves. Couture and O'Sullivan again this season. They
Yeah.
had a great start last year, but I mean, is it? Do you think that's the right halves pairing for this team? Or
I love Isaiah Katoa from what I've seen from him at such a young age. I just think he's very sturdy. Like his head, like he's got a really good halves game, if that makes sense. His kick game's awesome. The way he draws a player in to play a player through a hole. His kicking game, as I keep saying, is awesome.
yeah,
Sean O'Sullivan's one that, from memory, when we had him at the Warriors, I was so up and down on Shawnee. Going to the Panthers, he's upped his game so much, but
yeah,
then like
tightened up a bit.
injuries are a big thing with him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
torn pec last year. Yeah,
yeah, I would be interested to see if they end up any time, and this is like a real outside shout. But if Shawnee maybe pulls himself to like a reserve and maybe becomes more of a halves coach, if that makes sense, to help out with Katoa, and have Nick Garima in that six role, I reckon they'll juice it up just a tiny bit, if that makes sense.
yep.
Even that Kurt Donahue can play six at a click. I don't really want to say Jake Alvarillo too much in the halves, but they got players that can fill in those spots. But at the moment, I think they're definitely their starting halves for the season. I think they're the best ones that they do have, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm a big fan of Jeremy Marshall King, O'Sullivan. I think that they'll do well if they can stay healthy. Those two, they've
Yeah.
got enough support around them to get through.
Yep.
Flegler's a nice addition. Kaufusi, Aitken, that back row isn't the greatest, to be honest.
Well, I don't
Um,
really see like I've done a predicted team list. I was so surprised to see you and Aiken get that starting role there.
yeah.
Obviously, mainly off the bench, but even then, I struggled to give him a bench role. Like I thought for sure, Lemuelu was going to get that role,
Oh, let
but
me.
maybe
Well,
he's
sorry,
playing
he probably
something.
will, man. I think he will. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
sorry I looked at that thing, but if you go down the squad,
because
Lemuelu Wallace
Oren
will probably
Keeley's
start.
good too.
Oh, Oren
He's
Keeley, you reckon he's good? Yep.
he's really really nice. He came from the Knights off memory and that. A really really strong player. Had a lot of raps on him. He played decently in the trials last week. But Connolly and Kenny Bromwich too, bro. Like Kenny's the experience with him. Like I couldn't believe they put you and Aiken in that starting role when it had Kemi in
I
that.
think
But
it.
again,
Yeah, I think it's just with the Maldives game, like we talked about it.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly,
you're probably bang on there, but
exactly.
um, yeah, I would love for Jeremy Marshall King. I think he's a great hooker. I hope he stays healthy
Mm,
this year. Jesse Bromwich in his last season,
yep,
as well. So they're
yep.
kind of going through a little bit of a transition period.
Yeah, they got a
A bit,
lot of experience and good players, man. Like
yeah, I think this could be a good game.
yeah, bro. And like, doing like if you have you looked at your like predictions or something this year about all the other teams in the competition as well, brother, like cuz it's really tough. Like
It's
I
tight.
can't
It's tight.
see too many
Yeah, no.
wooden spoon winners like other than the Dragons, but they got Luciano Leilua now, where that changes a lot of it, but like this squad looks like in past should be a top 8 squad, but right now I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think they'll be interesting year for them. They got a big year ahead of them. They
Yeah.
they were riddled with injuries last year,
Yeah,
so they'll
every
be
young
trying
club.
to kind of get some stability, make a push. I think they're around that probably 10th, 11th range.
Yep.
Like they were doing well until the injuries came in and they just fell apart.
Yeah.
So they're gonna kind of gotta. But what's it? Just we'll do a quick score prediction on this one. Do you think it'll be kind of a close one, or do you just these are trial games, but
Mm.
how do you think the game will go at least?
I'm predicting 24-10, 24-12 to our end.
Yep.
I think we'll score a couple of tries. I reckon we'll get through a lot of good attacking work with our boys as starting. That's where I see a lot of our points coming from. And then maybe the Dolphins coming home, maybe a little bit. Oh, maybe we could go 50-50 and then like we'll come home with our younger juniors coming through because there's a couple of good juniors with this Dolphins one, but I really like the look of like Halasima, Laban with our boys. So
Yep.
yeah, 24-12 or something like that, brother. Where's your thoughts at?
Yeah, I'd love to see a few more tries for our boys. I think SJ and that will bag a few.
100%.
Yeah, I'd like to see just a bit more points in it, but I think you'll probably say there will be a bit more points with more stability on the field in terms of like that's kind of a shortened squad in
Yeah.
terms of not many of the young guys in there, but I think it's going to be a good game and just good to see that starting team. I mean, we want to just see a few runs with. I'd love to see RTS combining with Sean or RTS and Metcalf a bit more, things like
Mm.
that. There's going to be just some good things to look at.
What's your over under on Dal 2 or more tries here? What do you reckon? Think of that edge, right? So he's going to be running right side against Tessie New and Jack Bostock. So Jack Bostock's still a rookie. Well, he played cup games last year, but still young. And Tessie can have a defensive lapse in him.
Yeah, no, I take that. I take that. I take
Yeah,
the overs. Yeah,
Dal with
yeah,
the two, brother. Two or
yeah.
more.
Deal with the twos. That does look a bit. Yeah, nah, definitely.
There you go, guys. Come for here for some bets, you know?
I just want to tuck on this one here with Nas is saying, yes, the announcement of Stacey Jones as the Kiwis coach today.
mm,
Um, any briefs on Stacey Jones over Wayne Bennett when ready? Yep. For me, from a Kiwis perspective, I was pushing for Wayne. I love to have seen Wayne. Like I said, there's only one Wayne Bennett, and this is the last ride, to potentially do it. I saw a lot of benefits from having Wayne as the coach. I thought man management. We're talking about 3 games a year, getting the best out of elite players and just motivating them to push a little bit harder. But if I'm being honest, it is nice to have Stacey. I mean, in the back of my head, is this another Kidwell? I know that's a
mm,
bit disrespectful to Stacey. I would hate to say that, but I think everyone is very fearful. 2017 is still in the back of a lot of Kiwis fans' minds.
yeah.
Um, but it was interesting to hear the reports, that the Warriors were very open for Stace to take the role. Seems to have a lot of support backing from the Warriors, which is interesting. And I think as well, I think people have been crying out for a coach to be based in New Zealand. I think the whole dialogue and thing around Maguire, I don't think the Kiwis like that.
Mm,
How that ended up, and the kind of distraction or whatever it may be is. This is if you guys being real honest, the Kiwis is still a very small kind of a mom and pop, like restaurant. If you're thinking it's not a big fast food chain, it's like they're still operating on a very small scale financially and stuff. But
yeah.
I think they would want to try and keep it back into the Kiwis. But yeah, I think I'm agree with Jacko here, bro. It is what it is. Yeah, and actually, Jacko, if you said that, I haven't read the article, but he says Stacey the best applicant. Peters is a bit off, bro. Honestly, I'm not a fan of Peters, but I trust in Stace, and it's more about getting guys, the mentors, ex Kiwis involved, that type of keeping morale high, and getting good assistance. I think is the key as well. But what's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, obviously, I first touched this. I got to touch it again. Like, I am an Aussie boy, so like
Yep.
I'm an Aussie fan in that. But I'd love to see, like, it's not pandering or anything like that, because I think New Zealand always like are up there and beat us, and like all that sort of stuff. I would love to see Wayne Bennett over there
Yeah.
and just create something
Yeah.
special to back on
Yeah, I
what
agree.
Madge has just done with the Pacific Championship. Um, and you have all the talent in the freaking world at the moment. Like, as we
Yep.
just spoke on, Jeremy Marshall King barely even played. He didn't even play in that Pacific Championship game. Cheese didn't play in that Pacific Championship game. Like, yous were running on, like, yeah, fuck, I can't even remember who your hooker was last. Oh, who was that? But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what Madge had to deal with that squad, like, it just shows how much potential, and I can only imagine what Wayne could do with that squad. But I'd love to see Stacey there, obviously being a Warriors fan, so, like, it's good to see Stacey get up in that position. It's just, I think Stace is an amazing football player, and I don't want to put this in a disrespectful way in any sort of way as well, but I think he's an amazing football player, always will be. He's a legend. I
Yep.
don't know if he's an amazing coach, and we still don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we've
Yeah.
seen him in periods with the Warriors, and like there was moments where he was pushing Chanel from 9 to fullback to center to 14 off the bench. Like, there was moments where I was watching during COVID periods and just going like, I love Stacey as a player and it hurts me so much, but I just don't understand these positions and stuff. So
Yeah.
I hope you don't get caught up with that a little bit. But I think that's the talent in that squad is still undeniable, and you still have success. It's just
Yeah.
What Wayne could have built there could be something really special, if that
I,
makes
I
sense.
think the good thing what we noticed with the Kiwis, at least with Maguire, was that the senior leadership group had a big influence on how the team performed. I think all that success out of that. I think they were all very, as a group, wanted to win that Pacific Championships, and I think a lot of the stuff in these types of games is getting the right balance of culture, everything like that. I
Yeah.
think it kind of be in the Meninga vein. Meninga for me, he's not a genius or
Nah.
strategic master. He's just a guy that gets the culture right, has the pride in the Kangaroos jersey, represents the history.
Yep.
Um, Although he's bombed like twice big time. He lost to Tonga and he got pumped 30-0,
Yeah.
which, is disrespectful to the Kangaroos jersey because
This is what it is.
so, I mean, his head should be on the chopping block. But a lot of this, like, Wayne, for me, if you'd gotten Wayne, immediate mind games with Meninga. Meninga's like screwed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Meninga's looking at Stacey and thinking, "Oh, I can soften him up, I can butter him up, and I can get one over mentally." I think
Yeah.
that's what Maguire did well was he did beat Meninga twice.
Yep.
Could have beaten him in a semi final, but he's got the wood over Meninga in a way, And so I think Stacey's got a lot to prove. He's got to try and find a way to. He's got a window here of 3 years till the World Cup. He's got a
Yeah.
lot of work to do to try and get himself confident and this team's confidence up. But yeah,
I just
yeah,
hope there's no back foot step because if we're looking at like what you're going to have to deal with now, like you got Stacey coming in, which is
yeah.
good.
No, it's very careful. Yep, yeah,
No Joey Manu, you going to Union, and if he is going to Union, it's still not fully confirmed, but there's a lot of chat saying he will be.
yep,
That's the big thing that hurts me seeing like, as I said, I'm a massive fan of the Warriors, being an Aussie, but being a massive fan of the Warriors to help our club grow really comes from New Zealand falling in love with rugby league, and the biggest
yeah,
way to do that is through the Kiwis, and like for you guys to perform top level and have players like Joey Manu where kids look up to and go like, I want to be like him. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
have that through the Kiwis now, but losing someone like Joey Manu definitely hurts that. So that's the big thing. That's like Stacey will hopefully help that. Hopefully, a lot of kids that are coming through now have gone to see highlights of Stacey and see what we all talk about because he's an all-time legend. Like what he's done for the Warriors is,
Yeah.
yeah. What
The,
can I
the,
say?
the biggest thing, like for the Kiwis role, is like you got to beat Australia, and you got to beat
Mm,
them regularly to make like a mental. It's great to beat them
exactly.
30-0, but if you get pumped 40-0 next time, it doesn't help the brand. So it's all about you got to get wins and get them. You got 3 games. You got to find a way to win them.
Yeah.
So he's got a very like. I mean, it's not a full time job, but when it comes around,
It
man,
is
you
a
got to really nail it.
yeah.
So no, but congratulations to Stace. We love him. He's
100%.
club legend, Kiwis legend as well. So no, we love him and good points here, Jacko.
Hope he
Guys, I
kills
think
it,
that
man.
yeah, I hope he kills it too. That wraps up pretty much, man. I think we've done a good
Woo.
hour and a half, man. Couldn't stop.
Yeah, breeze through,
Um,
man.
Thank you for everyone that's jumped in on Instagram. Everyone's fallen asleep. There's only 4 people watching, so
Yeah.
they're probably sick of us talking. But we appreciate you anyway.
Thank you.
And thank you to everyone that's here. And if you are still on YouTube, please give us a like, give us a subscribe, put on the notification bell. We love you. And go to Ash's page as well and follow there. Ash, have you got a live coming up or watch along?
Yeah. So I'm still in the planning of where I have 3 and all that, but I will be trying to maybe make the Warriors game. I would love to like live stream the Warriors game this week. But keep an eye on my channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell on both this channel and my channel for any updates on what's going on, live streams, future live streams. I will be here as much as possible as well. I love being on this channel, man. It's
Yeah.
just speaking to you guys is incredible. So yeah, keep an eye out, guys.
Thank you, boys. And we'll wrap it up there. But have a great week. We'll see you guys. We'll probably do the post match either Saturday or Sunday night. We'll see how we go. But enjoy
Beautiful.
the game this weekend, guys. And up the Wales.
Up the wires, baby.